Yeah,
If you have
thank
any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam and Basi. Now, you guys have listened to the information section on business analysis and data analysis. Now it's time for you guys to ask us any question that you want to ask, any question at all, whatever you have on your mind. Now is the time to talk about it. So there are a few ways you can use to ask your question. You can put it in the chat, or you can raise up your hand. I'm going to unmute you, and then you'll be able to ask your question. I have a question already, and the question is, I'm an HND holder with 18 years of experience. Do I need to have other certifications before becoming a data analyst? The individual has 18 years of experience in sales of technology products and services.
Okay, I think I can answer that. So in my experience in the data analyst field, certifications are not a must. Some companies do ask for certifications, but rarely would you find. Most of the time, they are looking for like experience, and even through like job and interview process, you're given like a case study, and then they tell you to maybe provide some insights based on the data set they've given you. So it's not a must. It's good to have, but it's not like you can get a job without having a data analyst certification, as long as you have the experience and the skills and you're able to like speak for it in the interview.
Okay, yeah, thanks for the explanation. Pasi, do you think this applies to business analysis as well?
Yes, so I would say, like the chart I showed, right? There are several ways to come into the practice. And whatever you've been doing over the 18 years, I can assure you a lot of the skills you've used to deliver on your job are transferable to the business analysis practice. So what we're just going to do is to help you formalize and structure your approach. A lot of people are doing business analysis work and don't even know it. What they don't have yet is the designation, business analysis and a structured approach. So, in your sales, I'm sure you do things like SWOT analysis, where you gauge the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. Those are skills that you transfer into your business analysis practice. But when it comes to certification, certifications are good because they help, you get a foot in the door with a lot of companies. It kind of shows that, you have some level of competence. But again, from experience, certifications do not determine, how well you do the job. So while certifications are good, they are not absolutely necessary. I've seen people who have crossed over from sales into business analysis direct within a company, because, the role opened up. So, they didn't need certifications for that, but certifications are good. But what's better is to have, the structured knowledge for you to be able to carry out the job. And, in my trainings, I always emphasize that. Learn the techniques, de-emphasize the certification. I never got my certification until about 9 years into my career before I got my CBAP certification, but I had been doing my work. But, just to see, other structured approaches to doing my work, I pursued the CBAP certification. I got it. It made me feel better. But it didn't, it didn't translate into success automatically. It's still about you. So yes, after 18 years within sales, you can definitely cross over, whether it's into business analysis or into data analysis. And you do not absolutely need a certification, you need guidance and you need, some form of mentorship. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Basil, and thanks, Miriam, for the brilliant answers. Now, I have another question. The question is, how easy or hard is it to transition from a different industry, let's say accounting and finance, into business or data analysis field? What steps can the individual take to be able to accomplish this?
Okay, I can take a stab at it. So like I said, if you're an accountant, all the best, because I always say a lot of accountants are business analysis with accounting designation. That's what I always tell people, right? Because a lot of the skills you use within accounting are actually business analysis skills. You're playing with data and all, but also data analysis skills, right? Data analysis and business analysis, there is, a very thin line that separates them. One is data heavy, and the other, basically involves, human management and, translation of business needs without being heavy on data. So as an accounting professional, if you want to transfer your skills, you need a training like this to, help you see the best way to get into the industry, to help you see how you can use your skill better. You can be a financial analyst, right? That is also a business analyst, but with emphasis in finance. And again, as an accountant, coming into business analysis, a lot of companies are actually looking for that because first of all, they believe you understand the value the company is chasing. And if you understand the value, if you understand the why and you understand the how, a lot of organizations prefer that to someone who just understands the how. So you actually have an advantage as an accountant, and I would definitely implore you to, register and join the bootcamp and also take it further, because there are a lot of roles that actually seek people who have accounting background, for business analysis roles. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Basi. Madam, do you want to add a little to it, or that's fine?
I think Basil actually covered it all because you have financial analyst, reporting analyst, and it's once you have that industry knowledge, especially in finance, like you would be very marketable. And next steps, yes, register for this bootcamp so you can gain additional skills that will, to help you with that.
Okay, yeah, thanks. And then there's another question about someone with background in communication. The individual has a BSc in communication. So the person is asking, will it be a good idea to transition into data analysis?
Let me take this. So with your BSc in communication, like data is everywhere. So once you have that communication, you already have that industry knowledge. So it will be a good idea. It's always good to be in IT, and the way it is now, like you hear about ChatGPT, a lot of AI. So the world is going towards data, and you don't want to be left behind. So I encourage everyone to come into IT, come into data. You learn a lot. It's a very marketable skills, and there's always the need for like data analysts, because people always want to solve problems and understand their data to make business decisions. So I would advise you to take a stab at it and try it. It's register for our course, and we'll help you with that. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Miriam. If I would like to add to that, you see, for you to be able to transition into a particular role, like most of us in Nigeria, where most of the people on this call came from, it's difficult when we wanted to go to university to say, this is what I wanted to do. And then eventually you see yourself through doing it. Some people may want to be lawyer and they end up being maybe a communication expert. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have the skill to be something else, but that's what you got at that time. Maybe that was what JAMB gave you at that time, and that defined who you are. But if you look at IT, there's a lot of opportunity for people to transition into it. It may look a little technical, but by the time if you get someone that can hold you very well and guide you through the process, you will notice that it's not that technical. Now, you that is a communication expert, that's a huge advantage. If you notice, most of these skills will require you to be an effective communicator. You already have that. So let's say, for example, you joined maybe a business analysis cohort. With your business analysis, you can actually start your role as a change analyst. With that, you manage people, you manage change management, and you can make your communication skill will be heavy on that, because you're actually communicating with people and telling them about what is going to happen, the effect of what is going to happen. And that could be a starting point for you in your journey to IT. And then you can, if it's data analysis that is of interest to you as well, you know, a data analyst is a storyteller, because by the time you design the dashboard, you are telling people about something. You are providing insights to the data, and your communication skill will be, in fact, it will help you a lot to be a better storyteller, because you're already trained in that heart before you transition into IT. So it will effectively complement your new skill that you're going to acquire. Yeah. So I have two people. So I will first unmute Oluwafunmilola. So Oluwafunmilola, you should be able to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Mr. Basi, right? I don't know.
Yeah, Basi.
Coyote, right? Yeah, Mr. Coyote.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, I have zero knowledge of, I want to venture into business analysis, and I have zero knowledge. Like, I work in the banking when I was in Nigeria sector, but when I moved here, I now work as an education assistant in the school system. But my zero knowledge, I'm kind of scared, I'm kind of nervous if business analyst is a technical role, just as data analyst. And also, I know they usually write user stories. Am I going to need that communication skills as well to be able to, tell myself properly, being a learner in the role? Like I'm really nervous. So I don't know what I'll make in it. I don't know how I'll go about it. Like I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure of myself. So being a technical role, if it is, and being a good communication, a good user story writers and stuff like that. Thank you.
Okay, before I allow Basi to talk, I'll just say it's good to be afraid, really. At times it's good to do something scared, right? It's not a bad attribute to be afraid of something that you've not done before. So it's good to be afraid of it. It shows that you are interested in doing it. It shows that you may doubt yourself, but you are actually trying to take stock of your skill. And I think the program can help you to shape your, to do what we call skill matrix, so that you can do or skill mapping, so that you can know what you currently have and what you want to do. But I think it's not a bad thing to start something and be afraid. So yeah, Pasi, over to you.
Okay, yeah. Like Mr. K has said, it's totally okay to be afraid. In fact, in IT, I would be afraid of someone who is not afraid, because they can blow away a table, or pull down a database and things like that. So it's totally okay. And I 16 years in IT, I still have that from time to time. It's called imposter syndrome, right? When I leave an organization and move into another organization, and there are a lot of policies to soak in, there are a lot of information to soak in, there are new teams to meet, there are new names to learn, So it's totally okay. But what I find is being afraid brings out the best in you, because then you're making a conscious effort to structure your assimilation of available information, to structure your approach towards interacting and things like that. Now, did I hear that you use user stories in your current role? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. No, I'm not using user story in my current role. I heard business analyst uses user story.
Oh, yeah. So user stories is just one tool that we use, and anybody totally can write user stories, the acceptance criteria and all that. What I think you should do is, to let yourself go, come to the free session, even get a deep understanding of the business analysis practice. That way you would know whether it's something you want to move forward with, but I can tell you the fact that you've, held down roles before, in banking, and you've been successful in your roles, means that you have skills that you've gained, means that you have skills that you can transfer into a business analysis career. Customer service roles, there's something called customer service business analysis. If you have banking background, then you would be successful within the banking sector, especially if you understand banking operations. That is fantastic. A lot of organizations are looking for people with banking roles who do not necessarily have business analysis experience, and they can fit in to a team and work as a business analyst there, and even grow on it. So it's even better when you've had structured training and a structured approach. You easily become a champion within the domain. So I think it's okay you're afraid, and I think you should take that leap of faith and come into the session and broaden your knowledge. There's nothing to lose, right?
Yeah, thank you, Basi. So I'll move on to the next person. I have Olaide. So Olaide, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good day, Mr. Kayode, Mr. Basil, Mrs. Miriam, Mrs. Olifisayo. Thank you for giving me this chance. My question is, as a fresh graduate that is just graduating I am situated in Nigeria as a fresh graduate that is just finishing from school. I actually was done with my NYC last year, but presently trying to deviate into the cybersecurity line. Though this is a general question. My question is, for a fresh graduate, what are the chances of actually getting a job role with no experience? Because, most employers, when you are trying to apply, at times you see 3 years experience, 2 years experience. So my question is, how possible it is to actually get a role as an unexperienced graduate?
Yeah, okay. I will just try to answer your question, then I'll leave it for my other colleagues to contribute as well. I've seen job descriptions or job advertisements where they are requesting for a tool that is maybe a year old and they are putting 3 years experience. You know what that means? It means the tool is just 1 year old, but the recruiter is asking for 3 years experience. It means nobody has that kind of experience because the tool itself is just 1 year old. I've seen that before. You see, what I've done in my career is not really to look at the number of years they wrote on the job description. I'll look at the skill set they are looking for, and then I will apply. Because they just, most of the time, they just put those years there to maybe probably scare the people away, or the people drawing those job descriptions don't really understand the technologies because they are actually the HR people that does that. Now, if you're a fresh graduate and you're just coming to IT, all you need to showcase is what IT people call your portfolio. And that portfolio will be the projects you've done. And then, now, this course that we're offering will be full of projects, hands-on experience. So you'll be able to do some projects, and those projects will form your portfolio, something you can put on your resume that you have done. And in some cases, if you've done it for maybe 2 or 3, if you go through the entire program, let's say the program is for 3 months and you go through the entire program and then you prepare, it will be safe to put maybe 6 months experience or thereabout, because the time you've used in studying is part of the experience that I would say, and the time you've used in doing those projects, if you concentrate your effort on it, is part of the experience. So if you put it, it could be a good starting point. And if you target entry-level roles are roles they put 1 to 2 years there, you should be able to get something. But it all depends on the way the way you apply yourself to learning those new skills.
All right, sir.
Yeah. So Pasi or Miriam or Fisa, anyone, if you want.
Just to add to that, from my experience as well, passion is something that I know that really drives people, and whoever is doing like the recruitment process, once they can see that passion you have, you also, even though you're straight out of school, you worked on like a lot of projects in school, right? So once you have that portfolio that can showcase what you've done, and you show that, if you check, a lot of people in IT don't even like have IT background. Some people came from like different industry, but they are very successful today. I myself, for example, I came from, well, still IT, but like a networking background, but now I'm doing data analyst. And what really drove me into this was just my sheer passion. I didn't have any experience, but I was very passionate and willing to learn. And I had some guidance as well. And today, like, I can even like help like other people get to that level. So those are some of the things you should also consider.
Yeah, thanks, Miriam. Thanks,
Okay.
Miriam. Yeah.
Yeah, just to chip in something on the side of cybersecurity. Yeah, so I will definitely encourage you to join this to sign up for the bootcamp, because what recruiters can write, just as this the CEO has said, recruiters can write anything telling you that you need 2 years of experience or 3 years of experience in a particular domain, and he has also assured you that you can write that in your resume, that okay, completing like a 3-month or 4-month program with Cloud Vista, you have experience. Because if you register for the cybersecurity domain, the things you'll be asked to do, like threat modeling, so we'll be giving you different captions. So, okay, threat model this solution, go to Bob Suit, open a Bob Suit free account for vulnerability scans. They might not be able to do so much on penetration testing, but running Wireshark analysis on traffic, packet tracing. So by the time you do all those, you can be confident and put it in your CV. And moreover, it's also counts as your experience, because this bootcamp is not just a theory or reading in the book. It's going to be a lot of hands-on. So, and you have to be determined as well. So with that, you can, I've heard a story of I know a lady who applied for Erasmus scholarship. You know, Erasmus scholarships, that kind of scholarship that I think is organized in Germany. And they have to travel to like 4 or 5 different countries. But the requirements was TOEFL. This lady didn't have TOEFL. She put in it was not even WAEC, the other one they do in Nigeria. NECO, exactly. Imagine you put in your NECO results, and she won the scholarship. So it's all about how you can actually market, because they'll put those requirements in there, but you don't even know if you're even the best amongst all the candidates. So the synopsis of my discussion is that she just go ahead and enroll for this program. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Fisayo. And someone said in the chat, said fake it until you make it. And that's really true. Yeah, say fake it until you make it. That's the way it is, really. In fact, I watched a YouTube, a TED talk on this. You know, when I first got to Canada, that was, you know, they will people, the welcoming people will tell you, yeah, there are a lot of things you have to fake to make it, you know. So yeah, not really lying about it, but you put yourself into it and begin to live it, and then it becomes yours. Yeah, I have Stephen Adebayo. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'll be directing my question to Mr. Kayode. Actually, I'm working towards the DevOps, and actually, I started with AWS, and I'm actually done with the cloud practitioner, but I'm actually having some difficulty with AWS developer associate stage. So I'm indulging your advice and help on that. And actually, I'm going to also be joining the bootcamp to learn more about the DevOps, the practical part of it.
Yeah, okay. It's good to, at least you've started with practitioner. Now, the developer associate, we can guide you through how to, prepare for the exam. Though what we are offering is it's not actually a certification program. It's for you to understand the technology and be able to get a job with it. Or we can provide those guidance on how to go about passing the exam. Really, that may not be a problem, but we will not be able to say, okay, we are training you on how to pass the developer exam, but we can provide guidance on how you can go about passing the exam. But yes, we'll train you on what you can put on your resume and what you can talk to in an interview. So the certification will just be the icing on the cake.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Problem. Yeah. So I have another person. I have Taufik. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask a question, Taufik.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So my question is around the DevOps bootcamp. I want to find out, is it going to be covering just the AWS DevOps or the Azure? Or and then my follow-up question to that would be that since DevOps comprises of learning different tools to do one thing or the other, how how adequate is going to be the bootcamp to cover all the necessary tools one need to succeed in this field? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Now for the DevOps bootcamp, we will not, what we will do are the basic tools that you will need to be able to get a job. There are several tools in DevOps. I don't know all of them. Honestly, I don't know all of them. But I've gotten to a level where I can teach myself any tool that I need to teach myself. So what we'll do is to introduce the basic tools. We'll talk about source code management. We'll talk about how to build your CI/CD pipeline. Now, using the CI/CD pipeline, if I'm taking, the source code management, we'll talk about the popular Git. So for CI/CD pipeline, we'll be looking at Jenkins. Now, in a way, we'll be talking about cloud, just a little introduction to cloud in the DevOps class, just a little introduction to cloud to be able to see, okay, this is how I do infrastructure as code. So we'll do infrastructure as code using Terraform, and then we'll be creating those resources on a cloud platform. In this case, I'll be using AWS to do that, but it's just the same way, the same way you can do it on Azure. I'm not going to be using CloudFormation to do it, so that it's not tied to AWS alone. So we're going to be using Terraform that supports multi-cloud. So you're going to learn about Jenkins. You're going to learn about Terraform. We'll do container. So we're going to talk about Docker, a little bit of Kubernetes. Then we're going to talk about monitoring as well. So in essence, the tools that we're going to talk about are not tied to a particular cloud provider. So I'm not going to teach you AWS 100% on. I'm not going to teach you DevOps 100% on AWS. But with what we are going to teach you, you can on your own then go back to AWS and then use those tools. For example, the same command that you will use for Git to apply for code commit. Then if I teach you how to do CI/CD pipeline with Jenkins, you can use, I'll tell you the tools on AWS that you can use as well. So the tools that we're going to teach you are tools that you can use on any cloud platform. I hope that answers your question. Now, if you want to deep dive if you want to learn more about cloud computing, then we have another class for cloud computing. In that, we'll be talking about AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, depending on the people that signed up for it. So if more people sign up for AWS, yes, we'll do AWS and Azure, but they're going to be separate classes because they are different in a way. So now, if you want to learn about cloud computing, you can join that class, but the DevOps will be DevOps that you can use on any of the platforms. I hope that answers your question. Okay, any other question? Then I have another question. And the question is, can a student that just finished secondary school go into machine learning and cybersecurity to get a job after a good knowledge and experience on the job without going to university? Will anyone want to take the question? Oh, yeah, first. So is it possible for somebody that is just finishing high school to learn these skills and then get a job without going to university?
Yeah, I would say with remote work right now, first of all, with remote work, you can work, anywhere in the world, regardless of what your local legislation or whatever around work or even what pertains within your location. So I always like for people to look beyond Nigeria. I know most of us are in Nigeria. Look beyond Nigeria when you're making job decisions, be global minded. That out of the way, I would say, as long as you can solve business problems, and companies can see the value, you can bring to them. If you're really skilled, companies would definitely hire you. Over here, I know a lot of people that have risen to, manage teams without higher education, right out of high school, they take up their role maybe as a teller in a bank, and they rise through, and before you know it, they go for a boot camp, they transfer into a technology role, and before you know it, they are leading a team of IT professionals. So yes, it happens. It does happen. Does it happen in Nigeria? I'm not sure, but let's be global minded when we're, because it's IT, right? IT is global, IT is dynamic, and then we have these platforms that enable you to work from anywhere in the world. So yes, it can happen. In your case, I think you should be positive about it. There is no knowledge gained at any age that is irrelevant. Right now, several institutes are approaching me to teach my 7-year-old and my 10-year-olds, AI, skills and all that, programming skills. So the world is going beyond where, your age determines what role you can get. If a 13-year-old just got employed to work in Tesla, I believe, so yeah, let's break away from what our current environment dictates and, think ahead, think global.
Yeah, thanks, Basi. I think you really answered the question. Yes, somebody that is finishing from secondary school can actually get a good role and progress. My first manager in Canada didn't have a degree. He's a senior manager in one of their big banks. He didn't have a university degree. And I've seen another senior manager in another bank that didn't have a degree. He just went to a school to get a diploma. And then that diploma should be less than maybe around our OND in Nigeria. And the person became a senior manager in a bank in Canada, managing IT people. If you even go back to the tech, the people that are really doing great in tech, like Bill Gates himself, didn't finish university. So you can say Bill Gates himself is a secondary school. The last certificate that Bill Gates himself had, just secondary school, high school, because he went to the university, but he didn't complete it. And so many other people like that, even the guy in Facebook. The guy in Facebook completed his own, I believe. So there are people that are doing well in IT without a degree. So all you need is your passion. And then if you have the passion and you can solve problems, yeah, you should be able to make a great career in IT without your university degree. Any other question or questions? Okay, so I'm going to share with us the URL that you can use to register for the bootcamp. Though I noticed some people, when they're registering for the information section, they registered, they just said they want to partake as part of the bootcamp as well. So if you have done that, there's no need to register again for this. We're going to be communicating to you once about the timetable for the bootcamp itself. Then I'm going to share our YouTube channel. I will upload this video to the YouTube channel after the program, maybe can give me till Monday, I'll do it. So you have it by Monday latest as well. And the one of last week, I'm going to upload it as well. I was trying to upload it, but it looks big. So I'm going to break it down so that even this one, I'm going to break it down to each of these sections so that I can upload it. So you have all of it ready by Monday at the latest. Any other question before we say we call it a day today? Okay, I think I'll take that as no. Yeah, thank you so much for joining the information section today. You can share the link to your friends to join in the last information section that I'll be having next week, Saturday. On Saturday, we'll be talking about cloud computing and software development. So if you want to know how to write code, if you want to know how the cloud works and the opportunities in cloud, yes, please be our guest next week, Saturday. And I would like to seize this opportunity to thank Basil for the great presentation and Miriam for the great presentation and my other colleagues for their contribution and for making this program a success today. We look forward to seeing you at the bootcamp, and then we look forward to actually seeing you beyond the bootcamp so that you can help us build a community that helps other people to grow and succeed in IT as well. Thank you so much for your time. See you Saturday next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone,
Bye.
have a great rest of today.